Hello, my name is Allison Bremner, and I'm here with 100 Women Care Boulder, and we have Cheryl Craig, who's going to tell us about what's been going on, and then we're going to hear from our wonderful nonprofits. So I'm going to stop talking and unmute Cheryl. Cheryl, you might have to unmute yourself. You might have to unmute yourself. There's a little button that says mute. Perfect.
Now.
You're good to go, Cheryl.
Hi, girls. How are you? I miss you guys so much. I wish we could get together. I just miss the energy and the sweet spirit of you guys. And let's hope that it's sooner than later before we can actually get together again. But I do want to say that, thanks to Allison for arranging this so that we can, look live at these presentations, and you can make your decisions based upon these wonderful presentations they're going to make. I wanted to tell you how proud I am of you, even during this really hard time. I'm sure a lot of us are struggling more than usual. You guys showed up for our May winners, Sister Carmen, with a record-breaking contribution to them. I mean, our total gift to them was $21,500. And in addition to that, you gave $800 to the two runners-up. So your generosity is just making such a difference here in this community. And I'm just so very proud of you. And, during this time, it's real important that we keep the momentum going. Let's keep building this group. Let's hit 200. So keep inviting women. And if you know somebody who should be here or would like to be here with us doing this work, either have them go to our website or just send me an email with their information. I'll contact them and get them on our roster and get them involved with us, okay, so that they can step up beside us and help us make an even bigger impact in our community. Okay, so now we had 24 nominations in the bowl this time. Amazing turnout, representing 20 different nonprofits. And so we're going to be learning about so many nonprofits that we never knew about before, and the 3 that were randomly picked are absolutely wonderful, and I think you guys are going to have a really hard choice this time. But anyway, take it away, ladies. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Cheryl. And also, if you're watching this, share the video on Facebook. That's how we're going to get the most reach and hopefully interest in the group. So we're going to go, Chris is going to present first, and it's Blue Sky Bridge. And so, ladies, I think you might have to unmute yourself because that happened with Cheryl. So go ahead, Chris.
Okay, there I am, unmuted. Well, thanks, you guys. I'm Christine Sliceric. I'm going to talk to you today a little bit about Blue Sky Bridge, which is in the Iris Hollow neighborhood in North Boulder. When I was researching this nonprofit, I live in the neighborhood, so I see them all the time. I am thrilled that they're here doing such great work, but I'm almost devastated because the work they do is surrounding child abuse, specifically child sexual abuse. So if I break up a bit here, it's just because it's been enlightening to me and maybe not in the best way. But Blue Sky Bridge has a 25-year history of child abuse intervention and education in Boulder County. When I look up their mission on either Facebook or their webpage, it says they foster safe communities, healing, and justice to end child abuse. And if their stats are right, they've helped over 10,000 children since inception. I'm going to read you a quote from the Deputy District Attorney, Jessica Dotter. She says, "Child abuse doesn't have the final word. We know that for a fact that early intervention and effective treatment, child and families can heal and move forward." And I thought, just telling, and as a way of setting background for you, it seems like a wonderful organization. Just by way of definition, they've got a staff of 14 and 2 comfort dogs, one Marion and a new one named Buck, and that's who's on staff full-time, it sounds like. They have 3 main focus areas. One is child advocacy, and 50% of the funding goes towards that. The other is education, 34% of the funding goes towards that. And then ongoing therapy is 16%. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit about each of those areas to give you some background on what they do. In the area of child advocacy, they're sort of centrally located to coordinate response between the investigation of an allegation and the agencies to help families during an abuse investigation. They provide immediate intervention, forensic interviews, crisis intervention counseling, family support, and then follow-up services to children and non-offending family members. So basically, they're the first line of intervention. A child is interviewed at their location, and that's why the comfort dogs are in such high demand there. The second part of their focus is education. They do three separate areas of focus of an education. It's school-based education, where they're training school personnel. They deliver this over 4 weeks in both English and Spanish, and they break it out kindergarten and then 3rd grade, so it's child or age appropriate. They do training for adults, so parents or step parents or anyone involved with children. They have an effort to make adults be more responsible for keeping children safe. They develop 6 training programs for adults. There's no charge for this, but it's a service they provide either to prevent an incident or help a child talk through an incident. And the last I found fascinating, it's called Project Pinwheel. They're aligned with 13 agencies to prevent and reduce child sexual assault. Agencies like the Boulder County Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, and the school districts are all part of this network that they work with. They're trying to generate awareness, education, outreach, and reducing gaps in service so that the healing process can begin. And lastly, they focus on therapy for children ages 4 to 17 who have experienced a traumatic event. And that's about 15 or 16% of where their funding goes to. But it's sort of full circle. So it's not just helping the police with the investigation, it's really moving the child through to some sort of closure and a way forward. And there's no charge for any of these sessions, and they range from 60 to 90 minutes. And again, I thought it was an interesting organization, and again, so sad that it has to exist, but I guess I'm glad that it does. That's it.
Thank you. That was awesome. Next, we have Kathy Crowder, and she's with our center. So I'm going to try to unmute you, but I think you might unmute yourself. Sorry, I muted you again.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted now. Okay, so, I'm so proud to be a part of this group. Thank you, Cheryl, for doing all the things you do. And I'm also really excited to tell you about our center here in Longmont. It supports vulnerable people in our community. The R Center has a long history in Boulder County and in Longmont. It started in 1986 by a group of community leaders who saw a need for centralized resources to help those regain self-reliance. The R Center is a private nonprofit, and it is not affiliated with any other agency, church, government, organization, etc. They do have a tremendous amount of support from individuals, foundations, local governments, businesses, churches, and service clubs. They have over 1,000 volunteers that serve their programs each year. In 2016, the R Center moved all of its basic needs operations into their current facility in Longmont at 220 Collier Street, and it became the Family Resource Center. So they take the person as they come in and assess what their needs are and what programs help them get back on their feet. The basic needs program, these are some of the things that they offer. Of course, since COVID, any in-person classes and things like that are not being offered. They've had to up their efforts to provide food and vouchers for rent and utilities because there's such a need for that. But in normal times, they provide groceries and personal care items to their market. They have rent and utility assistance, self-sufficiency programming and services, childcare and school readiness programs, parenting classes, hot daily meals through their on-site cafe, clothing and household items through their community closet, budget counseling, financial skills training, early childhood language, local transportation, family leadership training, public benefits assistance, adult education, energy efficiency training, computer literacy, healthcare expense assistance and minor healthcare screenings, mental health support, nutrition and cooking classes, culinary arts internship program, and referrals to other community services. In addition, they have a Aspen Center Child Development Center, which is located on 5th Avenue in Longmont, and it provides programs from children from 6 weeks to 6 years, including STEM. And it has a 5-star Colorado Shines rating, which is the highest rating, and there's only 1 and 2 of Boulder County that have that rating. Our center resource specialists are seeing triple the amount of need that they have in the past. About 30% of the families coming to them now are new and have never had to ask for assistance before. And many of those are not eligible for any kind of other government assistance. And those are particularly vulnerable due to eviction moratoriums being lifted and also the unemployment benefits being reduced. Our center has also seen 3 times the amount needed for direct financial assistance, primarily in the form of rent and utility assistance. When the pandemic started, since March 16th through July 31st, they have served 14,438 meals, distributed 7,190 food boxes, which total 463,750 pounds of food, and it provided 619 vouchers totaling $363,894 in financial assistance for rent and utilities. So of course, there's so many people in need right now with the pandemic that I think it's a great choice and it's a great charity. So thanks.
Thank you, Kathy. You're good. Oh, I can mute you. You got it, Kathy.
I got it. Hi, I'm Kathy Schoenfeld, and I just want to follow up on what everybody has said. And Cheryl, I give you so much credit for keeping this going during these times because there's a lot going on, so thank you. I'm Kathy Schoenfeld, and I'm nominating Rise Against Suicide for our gift from 100 Women Who Care. The reason I'm nominating them is because I'm so concerned about the mental health of our youth. Pre-COVID, it was tough for them, and it hasn't gotten any easier. As a mother of 2 teenagers, I can see the stress and uncertainty this time has on our youth, and I know I'm not alone. Many of us watching might already know about this organization. Until last week, they had operated since 2009 as the Second Wind Fund of Boulder County. They split off from the Second Wind Fund of Colorado, but they continue with the same mission. Their mission being to decrease the incidence of suicide in children by removing the financial and social barriers to treatment. So just some facts about the organization. They've served kids as young as 8 and all the way up to 19 years old, all in the Boulder Valley School District, as well as the St. Vrain School District. And what they're doing is connecting students with certified therapists. And what is the most important part is it's at no cost to the kids and the families. They'll work with school counselors, and I see that's going to be kind of hard right now with schools doing virtual, but they're working with the counselors to try to get the students connected with some of the therapists, and it might be because they have no insurance or high deductibles, limited family support, transportation issues. So they have a system where they can match and refer the students to some selected licensed therapists that are within the organization's roster. Currently, there are 17 therapists, that offer their services at reduced rates. So the students have access to 8 free sessions, and based on their individual situation, they can get up to 12 additional sessions if needed. As far as the funding and the budgets, I got information from Rise Against Suicide, and they have a pretty simple formula. For every $1,000 that they receive, they state that they're capable of saving a young life. This includes about $840 in therapy sessions, $30 in questionnaires and intake forms, $120 in travel reimbursement, and about $10 in other administrative costs. I know one question that comes up a lot when we're in person is, what is their operating budget? So for the fiscal year ended just in June 2020, their operating budget was $131,000. To meet the projected increase in demand that we've all talked about, for the coming fiscal year, they're currently projecting that their budget will have to be in the range of $175,000 to $190,000. So of course, a gift from 100 women who care would be a significant help. Currently, there's one executive director on payroll and one more that's going to be added as full-time who was on contract work prior to this. Finally, they have a working board made up of 8 volunteers with other volunteers that they bring in as they need them. The reason I supported them and nominated them is because they're experiencing and will experience such an increase in demand. I think many of us who work or volunteer for nonprofits understand how difficult it is right now to gather donations. Finally, let me share some testimonials from their website. One person or family said, available, affordable help is in short supply, which is why Second Wind, which is what they were called before Rise Against Suicide, is such a valuable and necessary fund. Without it, I don't know where desperate parents and kids would go. It has saved an untold number of lives. It has certainly rescued our family, and we will be forever grateful. Another one, they said, when you answered the phone, I heard, we will help you. We will get your son the help he needs right away. We will help you through the referral process with the school. We are here for you. And you were, with a therapist who could see him right away and all your support. I cried a lot during the crisis with my son out of fear and frustration. But the tears I had after that call were of pure relief and gratitude. I know you must know the tremendous good your organization does, but let me say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for helping save my son. Personally, like many of us watching, I've experienced the loss of a family member and friends due to suicide. Just over a year ago, I attended the memorial for a young man that I had known for over 10 years, since he and my daughter were in kindergarten together. Being in a room of hundreds of children, teenagers, parents, and grandparents was one of the toughest things I've experienced. I hope to never have to have my daughters or my family go through something like that again. We lost a young man with a future of promise. My hope is supporting Rise Against Suicide will allow us to prevent a future loss like that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Cheryl, do you want to say anything else in closing? Sorry, I got to unmute yourself, Cheryl.
So ladies, in closing, look for an email from me, which will have directions on how to vote after you have viewed these wonderful presentations. And that's the next step. So just look for that email and vote. Think about it, visit their websites if you want more information. And oh my gosh, it's gonna be a hard choice. Those are 3 wonderful nonprofits. Thank you, ladies.
And last thing in your email, there'll be a YouTube link that you guys can watch it. And if you're watching this right now, obviously you're watching it on Facebook, but please share the video, because if you do, we'll definitely get more contributions and hopefully more members and grow this. Okay. Thank you very much, ladies. And stay on the call for a second, though. I'm just going to stop the recording.